Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Malikicowtipper, going to bring you another game of StarCraft 2, and today my opponent is Pacifist. So that is definitely not a good skill to have when we're talking about StarCraft 2. The last thing you want to do is not fight your opponent, because especially in the case of the Zerg, if you're a Terran, oh, I spoiled it. If you're a Terran like my opponent Pacifist is, the last thing you want is your poor little SCVs, just getting ripped to shreds by Zerglings, and then your Terrans getting infested in. Oh god, the carnage would just be unbearable. So, Shakura's Plateau, great map for Zerg. I've already covered that in other videos, but natural expansion, yes please. Open places to fight battles, yes please. The only thing, and I had a Terran do this to me once, is there's a lot of cliffs, there's a lot of ledges, there's backdoors, and there's a lot of space to use medevacs in drop play. It can be incredibly effective, and that's actually, against Terran, that's how I lose most of my games, because it can just be so difficult to deal with 3 simultaneous drops or repeated drops, and especially in this case where in one game I had an expansion over here very well saturated. Some med ships came in here, dropped in a few siege tanks, and all of a sudden, boom, no workers, just gone, completely annihilated, and I was totally not cool with that. So, just checking this out right now. When I see them on Shakura's Plateau, I think my mind auto-defaults straight to fast expand. But that's not always necessarily a good decision, because sometimes you will get bunkered, you will get proxied, so scouting is still important. You still want to do that, and it's still important to know where your opponent is. So now that I know that he's not up here, what I have to be careful of is I've seen Terrans just get Marauders, and absolutely rip these back doors apart. It does not take too much time at all for these rocks to fall to some Marauders and to some Marines. Marines not so much, because half their damage is negated, but I'm going to manage to get a drone inside of his base, and I'm just going to start scouting. So, right now, checking this out, I'm getting ready for my expansion, and this could have went down actually quite a while ago. Wow, massive little bit of miss micro on my part. And then I'm also going to throw down my extractor, and then go for a 14 pool. And this gives you a strong economy, right off the bat, and just allows you to transition into almost anything that you'd like to. So, Marine coming out, and he's actually got the Marine hotkeyed or rallied to this drone, so he wants this drone dead. He obviously doesn't want to show me the tech that he's going for. There goes the orbital command. I can see that happening, and what I really want to try to do is keep this drone alive as long as possible, so he'll reveal any tech to me, or, I just kind of want to see what he's going to do. And that can really help out early game builds. And now that I see that Marine, he's just going to start working away on my drone over here. I'm actually going to do a gas steal, just to keep him alive a little bit longer, and just to frustrate the hell out of my opponent. That's just so annoying when that happens. It doesn't really happen to me too much as a Zerg, but I can imagine for Terran and Protoss, when we do that, it's just like, really? You just went there? And actually, I didn't manage to rebuild. So, new mistake. But anyway, drone's dead. I'm out some minerals, and my scouting wasn't as effective as I would have wanted it to be. But right now, he's actually just got 1 barracks, and I'm really quite unsure as to what he's trying to do with this. But just checking this out over here, he's deciding to go for a bunker build over here. Now, I can clearly see this bunker, and checking out the production tab, I'm responding with 6 immediate Zerglings along with my queen. So, I'm really not quite sure the purpose of the bunker play, just considering the fact that there's only 1 barracks out, but he does have 3 Marines. It would have been better to have those Marines maybe up there to support with the bunker being built, because my Zerglings are just going to get out there, and I say, smells cheese. Ew, cheese. And the bunker's just really not going to stand a chance. He does get the cancel off, which is good, and he's sending his Marines back, and there's really no reason for me to send my Zerglings out and engage these guys. Pre-speed Zerglings, just so vulnerable to attack move when it comes to Marines, and frustrating like no one's business. So there goes a Bangling's Nest, which was also part of a response to seeing that. Now what I'm doing here, and this is something that I've picked up on other games, is that attack move on pre-speeded Banglings is also incredibly effective, so you will 100% need creep if you're going to try to fight off an early Marine rush with Banglings and Zerglings in the front of your base. And I'm just going to use these guys to rush up here, get kind of an idea what's going on, and I see that there's 4 or 5 Marines there. It's not worth committing with 5 Zerglings, because you will lose, and you'll just give him that one little advantage, that's more larva that you have to use on creating Zerglings. If we go over to the income tab right now, we're both completely even, 22 to 22. And right now, he's just choosing to outright build the expansion right down here. And he's performing a switch right here. Going to be putting the factory on the tech lab, so he's definitely going to be going for some fast Thors, or maybe get siege. Who knows? This is going to be really interesting to see. There goes the engineering base, so I would have to think Thors. Or, no, that'd be an armory. Wow, I do not know my Terran tech tree. I'm not a noob, don't hate me. But the big advantage that I'm going to have over him at this point in the game is I have my second expansion up and running, and I've got a pretty good idea, seeing that he was building the bunker up here, that he'll be wanting to expand as well. So what that's going to make me feel very comfortable doing is just droning up. I am laying down an evo chamber right here. The evo chamber is just in case. These banglings are, again, just in case there's a lot of Marines that all of a sudden come flooding through my door. And that creep is working on getting spread out right over here. And going to be a spine crawler growing down over here. This is to prevent Hellions, just because that factory is already up. He could be doing Hellions if he wanted to. We just check this out, though. There goes a second factory, and off of these guys, we're going to be seeing an armory right back here. So Thors will be coming out very soon. He's probably going to go for a Marine Marauder Thor build, which can be very powerful against Zerg. And it's going to be up to me to scout this. As you can see, I'm morphing an Overseer over here. And no, I do not rehearse these things, guys. I play the game, I remember what goes on, and I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm going to be scouting out over here. So, with this Overseer, he's going to kind of give me an idea as to what to expect from my Terran opponent. And right now, the Army tab definitely favoring the opponent. He has more troops out than I do, but my Harvester count is definitely ahead. If we check out the Income tab right here, not the Income, the Production tab. So, I managed to spot that he had a factory, he had a barracks, and an engineering bay. So I'm kind of expecting either tanks or Thors at this point, but I know that I need more information than that. It kind of actually bugs me that my changeling was killed so fast. He was really Johnny on the spot about that. Bastard. But I'm building 4 more drones, 20 more Zerglings, and the Zerglings are just as a response because I realize I have nothing out for troops. Now, there's Bangling speed going down, there is an infestation pit, and there's also a spire. So I am teching hardcore right now, and he's doing a pretty good job building his harvesters. I still have more harvesters than him out in the field. And what I should probably actually be doing is, now that we're going into more of a macro game where neither of us really wants to commit to an attack right now, is I should possibly be thinking about a third expansion. Just because I can sit here and build up an army all day long to match his off of 2 expansions, but even though I can rebuild faster, a Terran off of 2 base is far deadlier than a Zerg off of 2 base. So if I get that third base, even if it's more or less just for gas and a few minerals, that will definitely help out. And Harvester tab, I'm actually sacrificing Harvesters to start to build, you know, more extractors and build more tech. Let's just check out both the players' APM. Both of us running a little low right now. I think it's just because there hasn't been that much going on in the game. We haven't had to fight each other all that much. We haven't had to pull off any crazy strategies or anything. And it's just making us maybe possibly a little comfortable, a little complacent. I should be spreading creep over here. Now, my changeling just died. So this time I got a good look at both of the factories, both with tech labs, and seeing that, I'm definitely expecting Thors off of that part of it. So, just going back to the production tab right now, I have pathogen glands coming out for my infestors, and I'll be getting, excuse me, neural parasite pretty much as soon as that finishes up. And the income tab right now, 43 to 33, so I'm right at about where I want to be as far as harvester count goes. I could use about 5 more drones total just to get some better saturation. The main's looking really nice, and this one just could use a few more. So, but that's... It probably won't be the death of me, but it's something that, again, I could just use to improve with. Not supply capping yourself is also a great strategy. Combat shield nearly finishing, and the starport is nearly done. So, once the starport is out, he'll more than likely throw a few medics into this build, and then he'll have a pretty deadly combination right here. 4 Thors out in the field are not easy to deal with, and... Excuse me. Diet Pepsi just does that to you. But what you can do is you can get a lot of roaches and use roaches to stop Thors. So I will be dropping a Roach Warren pretty soon in response to that. 3 infestors coming out, they will have the bonus from their pathogen glands. And if we take a look at this, I'm researching +1 armor as well. Now, just getting a feel for this. Zerglings do quite well against Thors because they have actually very little armor for such a big unit, and a few Banglings will do wonders against these Marines right here, but what it's really going to come down to is positioning. If he backs himself into a wall right here, that would be very, very bad, but my creep is going to let me know pretty much right where he's coming from. And I'm really surprised he didn't wait for any medevacs to come out, and it's also very nice my Zergling catches that right there. So right here, we're going to see what I have to do with this. My Banglings are in the back, not where they want to be. I do have enough to drop a fungal